Are we having a party here? I don't know.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. Join our 3 industry experts boasting 140 years of experience as they unlock building service contracting secrets that can revolutionize your business. Welcome to Polishing Profits, and as you can see, the usual lineup of suspects are in their proper places and not on a milk carton or in the post office. And I hope you're old enough to understand what that means. We're still above ground and on the green side of the grass. Next week, we could be on a milk carton. Now, the most likely suspect for that might be Ed, but we won't give away why.
Well, I'm just getting back to with all those people that keep telling me to act my age.
I'd rather act my shoe size than my age. It's a hell of a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So with all that said, welcome to another engaging, riveting, breathtaking, keep your hat on your head at 175-mile-an-hour winds. And for today's listening enjoyment, we're going to have a topic, and Ed and Sharon are really going to spearhead this because they've got the most background in this and success in it, I might add. It's community engagement, how giving back can increase. What was it now? I forgot, Sharon. I didn't write the last 2 words down. We got talking. Got it?
Can boost your business reputation.
Community engagement, how giving back can boost your company's reputation. Thank you. With that said, Sharon, the floor is yours.
This is really a favorite topic of mine because I love it. I did a lot of it when I had my business. Getting involved in the community to not only give back to your community, but to also do networking and learn more about colleagues and prospective clients and customers that are in your community who need your service. People like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. We all know that saying. Mm-hmm. So the more you are visible, your brand is visible, the more you meet people, meet and greet, handshake, but in the end, it generally pays off. Lots of business is done, used to be done on the golf course. Now it's done in networking events, group situations. I joined everything. I was on the board for the Chamber of Commerce. I went to real estate meetings and luncheons and sponsored them. I sponsored Little League teams. They had my company name on the back of their shirts. All the eyeballs from the parents saw my company name. They all work somewhere. So it's brand recognition. And the more of that kind of thing you can do, you become the go-to company in your local market. And as owners, if you don't have time to do that yourself, you need to delegate it. If you have a salesperson, that's the person who should be out and about. Also, that's the networking portion. The community give back portion will be the charitable things you do. Organizations like Cleaning for a Reason, which is our industry's #1 charity in terms of giving back real service to people in need, to women undergoing treatment for cancer. That's a huge give back in the community. Not only are you doing good, but it makes you feel good when you're doing good. So that's a very important part of your marketing strategy and your business growth strategy. How am I going to give back, and how am I going to get my company known out there in my community?
Well, like I was saying just a little bit earlier, that, what you donate time for, okay, says something about who you are.
Yes.
So what you just said about your brand, that's a real important point. It's a real important point as far as your brand goes. And the way that I've done it best is, if you can't think of anything, like, well, what do you care about? What pisses you off? I mean, there's all kinds of, there's animals, there's all kinds of stuff, The one that killed me was, what happens to the kids in the summertime that don't get a school lunch? That was, that one just bothered the hell out of me, just bothered the hell out of me.
Right.
So now the other thing was, you don't want to go overboard with it, because then your only purpose is for everybody to say how wonderful you are.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a genuine cause, is what you're saying.
For real. No two ways about it.
And you have to be selective about the charities or the causes that really need your help and can really
It's going to
use you.
it's going to be different from community to community. From
Yes.
town to town, it's not going to be the same.
Mhm.
The
And
needs come up.
there are fundraising things that you can participate in. Charities like the Walk for Life, getting involved, sponsoring a team. They can be simple things, but things like that really show you care about the people in the community. It comes back to you 100-fold. I found that to be true. When you participate and you genuinely care and you give of your time and you give of your service. Cleaning for a Reason, for example, owners who are participating in that program are giving away what they do for a living. So, and some of them take on as many patients as they possibly can fill in their schedules, and it's very rewarding. And the stories from the patients are heartwarming. It really does good for the community. It does good for the morale of the company when employees see this kind of community participation from their boss, their employer. It does a lot to gel that. So that's an important part of it.
Well, there's an underlying thing about that. Look, the community has done so much for you and for your business that we wanted an opportunity to give something back. So to answer your thing, Mark, about you hate that, I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Right.
Well, and Ed, what was your purpose when you were doing scientific maintenance and trying to raise all that funding? Wasn't it computers and kids or?
Well, there was a fellow who was in IT, and he took a kid that was in trouble and showed him how to put a computer together. And an entire organization grew out of that. And what they did was they were teaching poor kids how to code and how to build computers, with the idea that if the future is digital, this is how these people have an opportunity to get in there. The other thing that I got involved with was a local development project. Okay. There was a company that was coming in and going to build 3 million square feet of new office and multiple space downtown. Okay. And I was always interested in that because the time to find out about new buildings is before they're built.
The Daily Journal of Commerce.
That's one of the problems we got with the leads that we do over in our JSN2. It's companies that are where buildings are coming, and I was astounded that people didn't know what to do with that. But it was a development thing where 25,000 acres was going to be repurposed, and it needed it badly. It was presently called Suitcase City, and it's a place that where you didn't want to run out of gas. Right around the university, we have a big university of South Florida here. Those are the two things that we got involved with.
Right. I was just thinking about some of mine, and the only thing I can really come up that fits well in this conversation, I spent several years in our local Rotary in Tacoma. And of course, that is all community service, and there's a lot of business people there, but it was a give back program. We would go in and work in parks. We would put exercise equipment up. I mean, every year there was a project, and Rotary's noted for site and site improvement. I did what I could with the time I had. I had a strange job. I commuted 135 miles to work every week.
Wow.
So the main office was in Portland, and I live in Tacoma. And that's a whole story in and of itself. But I didn't go every week, but I was tied up a lot. So I had to find things that were easy for me to do. And that cause did give back to the community. They were always looking for ways to raise money. I did several of the auction functions, but providing support, and all that money was raised and put back into the community projects for the years. And it does put you, to Ed and Sharon's point, it puts you in front of a lot of decision makers who are key people. The people in these things normally aren't.
The low-level people.
Trying to avoid that. I was trying to avoid the low.
High-level people do this.
In the old days, we called them the movers and the shakers. They owned the business, the doctors, the dentists, go through the 12 people of Atlantis, the butcher, the baker, all this. They were making decisions, running companies, and if they knew you, I did get referrals. I got some work from there. It wasn't my sole purpose for being there, and I think that's part of this discussion. Sometimes like cleaning for a reason or the things we did, it was for a greater purpose. And the other place I tended to put my time was in my local church, which really, they do a lot of outreach and reaching into that's very local. I mean, that was like within a radius of 15 miles. That was that local for helping the poor and bringing resources into the community and letting them know there's a place to come both for financial, physical, and spiritual development. There's a place to land. And I hate to use the word sanctuary because it doesn't have a real sharp meaning anymore, but there's a place that you can come to get some help if you can't find it anywhere else. So that had nothing to do with any self-promotion, but everything to do with how to serve that local community and give back into it in a way that was productive, that fit what I wanted to do. So those are my two examples.
Well, on that fraternal organization, did everybody have to wear the same hats? Because I can't do that. That makes me very nervous when everybody's
it was
wearing the
not
same
the
hat.
Order of the Grand Buffalo, and Ralph Crampton was
that
not there. The train, yeah. You'd really have to be old to know what we're talking about on this. Order of the Buffalo. Jackie.
That's right, Jackie Gleason.
Okay.
You cleaned a couple of moose lodges, so I know of the Grand Poobah. Their chairs had to be specifically put in an exact place for their meetings. So,
You said moose meeting. That reminds me of my short term in the Elks. And it was a customer, and we cleaned their building, and the guy was relentless. I was pretty young. Yeah, okay, whatever. So we'll do this. We'll make you happy, and we'll keep getting some business. And I went to the first meeting, and you talk about the Grand Poobah and the hats. Holy Toledo. I don't think they do this anymore. We're back 35 years here, maybe longer. And when the clock strikes 11, everybody stands up and they talk about the Grand Elk and all this stuff. Then they're going to initiate me. And so the guy that was my sponsor, he's got the sword and the hat, Ed, to your point, the whole regalia. And we're walking around these points saying what we're going to do. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got myself in deeper than I cared. And it was nothing sacrilegious or evil or nothing. It was just all this pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
I lasted 2 months and just told him, you know what? I'll clean your building. I'll do everything I can for you, but I can't go back to that meeting. And he asked why. And I said, basically, it's a bunch of horse. He said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I had the building for 3 more weeks. Sharon, back to you.
Well, one of the things that worked for me, and this was more of a networking, was being on, and I advised my salesperson was on this, the ambassador committee in most chamber of commerce. It's called ambassador.
Yep.
One of the jobs of the ambassadors is to go out and greet and personally welcome to the town all the new businesses. Imagine that. And so you get the first hand at meeting them and discussing what they do, and then they discuss what you do. And that led to a lot of business. So I really advise people who are going to get involved in the chamber, you have to be involved. You can't just be a member and expect your phone to ring or leads to come in. You have to network, and you have to get involved in knowing the people.
That ambassador committee, I was on the chamber, but I was never an ambassador. But that's really the connection point, and that's where they try to encourage you to get, if you don't just come to the meetings and network, go out and meet these people.
Right.
And obviously you did it, and it worked very well for you. And it's an automatic meet and greet, and it has nothing to do with promoting your business.
One meet and greet when you're calling on a new business. It's
the thing that I love about that is that you can call up somebody that just came to town, or somebody new, or somebody that's not in the chamber or in the group, and you can say, "Hi, my name is so and so. I'm with, the organization."
Yeah.
And as opposed to, this is Ed. I want, we're looking for a cleaning contract from you.
Yeah.
Big difference. Right. Huge difference.
This is Ed. I want your money versus this is Ed. I want to help you.
That's right. We're here to help.
personal basis first.
Mhm.
Well, I
But
think that's probably, I'm always watching the clock. I'm the appointed
yeah.
clock watcher when I'm here. I think that's enough ideas to get people thinking. So the
Hmm.
question we leave you with isn't so much what did you take away? What questions are you asking yourself is how can any of this work for you? Can
Right.
you find a way to promote your company and yourself and still serve the community? Hey, if you're doing it, thank you. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are listening that are already doing this.
Mhm.
And, hook up with somebody that's doing it, meet up, catch up, see what
Mhm.
they're doing. We're all connected in different ways through Facebook, LinkedIn. And if you happen to know somebody, you can't figure out what to do, ask how they're involved in their community. Look for,
Mhm.
if people are always happy to give you advice and help you when you're looking for things to do. So pick somebody you know is doing it and chat with them. And I
Yep.
think with all that said, we'll want to remind everybody all your favorite podcast outlets. We are there. Spotify, Apple Music. We'll call out Amazon Podcasts this time, which happens to be one of my favorites, but I'm odd. Go out to YouTube.
Mhm.
All of our
YouTube.
material is at YouTube. It's organized for you by subject, what we're talking about, and you can pick and choose and whatever you're looking for, hopefully it's there. If you want a
Mhm.
topic talked about here, we're happy for you to get in touch with any of us. You can definitely reach us through YouTube and our page there. So please do. We'd love to hear from you. If you want something talked about, even if you say, hey, you guys ought to get off the air, we're welcome to talk about why we should or shouldn't too. I mean,
Mhm.
everything's fair game according to Dad.
Yes.
It's the truth.
With that said, we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. Everybody take care. Adios.
Bye.